Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with some Simcore goodies. I've never done any Simcore videos on the channel before, but I actually already own some Simcore stuff, and they kindly gave me this 350mm rally wheel because I love rally so much. Also some more goodies in that box. This is going to be a good one. Let's do this. So first things first, probably why you're even clicking on this video, this rally wheel is damn impressive. Now, some of you will know I do a lot of rally on the channel. So this is, a very, I guess, typical rally layout for a button box. We've got a dished Momo wheel here. One thing that's very important here is this is a 350mm wheel rim. Now, I have had a 350 on my rig before, and it was actually a dished. It was my old Nardi steering wheel, but that was a little bit large. So I wonder how this 350 is going to fare and how it feels, because this button plate is quite large. And you can see here that there's like an extender that you usually find behind the steering wheel. Is actually here just to elevate that button box ever so slightly. And if we look in between the gaps, we also see a little bit of motorsport heritage here. It's a Momo steering wheel. Initial impressions on this, I've not used this yet. I've never used one of these. We've got 7-way hats on here. The 7-way hats have those little rubbers, and I haven't seen these rubbers on 7-way hats since the Asher units. I think the Asher F28FC had those little rubber O-rings on there. They do feel nice. They're nice and grippy, so that's good. The rotaries themselves, not amazing. They're okay. They do have click down as well, but the detent isn't super clear. I guess it's not something you'll be doing a lot of in a rally car, but let's not forget, it's not just for rally, it's also for rally cross. It's for a lot of other sequential cars where you don't have flappy paddles, because that's an important thing here. There are no flappy paddles on here. So where normally the button plate would sit behind, the button plate here sits in front. And I don't know how much detail we can get here, but that little riser is absolutely beautiful. A little bit of a sparkle off the carbon fiber. Maybe if I hold it at this angle. Yeah, I think you can just see the carbon fiber there. Lovely details on this. The buttons feel good. They're quite big. I like the color of this. It's there's a lot of color in it. And we have this single switch at the top. It's like a little rubber switch, and that is it. There's not much more to remark on other than the fact that there is backlighting on these rotaries. Again, those of you who know the channel know that I love backlit buttons. I did at one stage nearly buy a Simcore backing plate for, it was when I was running the SimiCube. I wanted a wireless backing plate, so I was looking at their, what's it called? Is it SD-1XL or something like that? There was a boosted media version as well. I'll flash it up on the screen there. That was a really cool button plate, and I nearly bought one, but by the time the taxes and everything came into effect, by the time I got it to Ireland, it kind of was a little bit expensive. It was close to €1,000 just for the button plate and the steering wheel that I wanted at the time. So it was a lot of money. I decided against that, but this is a great excuse to get into. Now, these have become a lot more affordable as well. This is $695, which I don't think is terrible, especially if you do a lot of rally. If you're very, very into this, this is the authentic kind of rally look. We don't need to even go into any detail about the steering wheel, really. It's from a real rally car, effectively. The grips are a little bit, I guess, thinner than a lot of other steering wheels, but you're not driving this the way you drive those. You're kind of just, guiding the car in a different way. You'd have lots of different grips here, so by the time you have little knuckles or whatever in here, it could actually be a little bit uncomfortable. So they've gone for just keeping it nice and simple. There's the ever so slightest bit of grooving in places, but nothing major. It's a fairly basic wheel design, and we see here this is a wired button plate as well. So we'll get through to the wire in just a second. What we will be doing as well is we'll be running this on an Asetek base. So you can get this, an optional extra of the Asetek quick release. One thing that I'm worried about, and we'll see how it is in actuality, is that this already brings the steering wheel a little bit closer. The Asetek quick release is going to bring it quite a bit closer as well. So how far away from the wheelbase, especially if I'm swapping it out for, you know, their new Invicta steering wheel, for example, I wonder, is that distance going to play a big factor? We will see. We will see. Just one or two other minor things that I want to show. The cable, first and foremost, really nice high grade aluminium here. It's a little bit, I guess, industrial. It's kind of a little bit, I guess, what you'd find in a real car, because this is probably way overkill for sim racing, but you know how sim racers get. And again, I love this little detail as well. We've got braided USB cables as well. So this is just a simple USB-A to USB-B, again with the branding. And I wanted to show this little bit as well, because this is kind of cool. This is a little USB dock, they call it. So this mounts up to your aluminium profile, and it means that whenever you're swapping out your steering wheel, you don't necessarily have to go all the way to your PC with it. You just plug out of this little dock, and this dock is the part that plugs into your PC or USB hubs or whatever. So this is the only part that you need. You'll notice that this doesn't have a USB port on one end. It goes to here and to the steering wheel. So that's how you do it. Now I've added a couple of stickers here as well, so you can see how that changes the mood of the steering wheel. So these buttons were very, very white, and of course they'll be backlit as well. So I can't wait to see those lit up. Now the question that I do have on my mind right now is, if I've only got one of these cables and I want to hook it up to an Asetek device, what do I do? If this connects on here with this, and if this cable only has two of these connections, do I have to run this? Will I have to run this? I'm using an Asetek base. They do offer an Asetek QR as an option, but I wonder if you don't take that option, can you use one of the QRs that you might have already bought? So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm hoping that underneath here there is just a simple USB port. That would be ideal. If not, I might not be able to, well, I will be able to use it with this, but I would rather not have to use this. But anyway, we'll figure that out. The steering wheel looks class. Let's not let that be an issue. They also gave me this, so I was actually chatting to George at the expo last week. These are some stickers for that steering wheel, so we can apply some of those stickers. We have a little bracket. I think you can guess where this is going. It's probably already in the video title. There is a USB cable, some little attachments there, nothing too major. This is the main reason we opened this box. So let's open this up. And in here, we have a beautiful little DDU. This is a 5-inch DDU, USB-C. It's got lots and lots of LEDs around the edge. And this is called the UD2-S dash, or DDU display. So lovely aluminium casing on it. You can hear that. And let's peel off this plastic cover on it. Bit of ASMR for you guys, a little bit of dust on there. But that is a really, really nice little DDU. It's got a little lip on it. Normally you'd find these on a real one to block out sun glare and reflections. I'm not sure how I'm going to run this on because I have the Asetek base with the Asetek front mount. So I don't think that there's any mounting solution for that with it. I have this one mounting solution. Now it does seem to be fairly generic. It's got multiple holes in there, and the DDU, I am guessing, will just connect on here, and it's a single bolt. Very, very simple, and that one bolt should be enough. And I think they're thumb screws, if I saw correctly. Let's get rid of the box. If I saw in here correctly, there's our braided USB cable. which we have on previous devices that I've owned as well, which I'll show you in just a sec. I'll give you a quick overview and a little rapid review on this unit in just a moment. So we've got some little thumb screws here. I'm guessing they are the ones that go into the back there. It's nice to see a little knurled thumb screw here. So let's slot the dash off to the side here. Now let's swap to this. This is the Stream Deck XL case, and there's a little button box that goes with that. I've been using these for almost 2 years to the day. I actually bought these at the expo 2 years ago when we were tidying up on a Sunday evening. I said, look, this has just been stuck in my head. I use my Stream Deck anyway. I love the idea of having a dedicated case for it that can sit on a mount, and a little side button box as well. So the case is the SDC-1XL, so it's the Stream Deck case effectively, and this is the SD-1 little, I guess, companion button box. The button box it has the same kind of controls. These rotaries are actually better than we find on the Rally steering wheel, even though the top one over time, I guess the top one gets used the most, but that one is because I use that for the likes of my volume and that. There is a slight difference in the detent between them. Nothing to worry about. Each one of them feels really good. And I do use this 7-way hat, especially when I'm reviewing steering wheels that don't necessarily have a 7-way hat. I like to use this instead for that consistency. And we've got another little rotary here with no push down. None of these rotaries have push down. The 7-way hat does have push down. But this is nice. This is €185. This is 145, and I think it's like $20 for the various brackets as well. So it's not a cheap setup. All in all, I think I paid around €300 for this. It's not cheap, but it is like just really nice from a quality of life point of view, especially if you're streaming something like this. Really, for me, it was worth the money. These little knurled little bolts, they do allow you to adjust angles and stuff. They do come loose over time though, so that's just something that that I've noticed. You should really put a little bit of Loctite on there or something to keep them in place, because every now and then I find that this button box is just kind of flopping by the side. But I would highly recommend this. Bought this with my own money, wasn't sent to me. The other ones were sent to me, so I have a major confirmation bias on these. I wouldn't have bought these if I didn't think they were worth the money. These, only time will tell. I'm not sure if I would buy them, but this is definitely something that I would buy. So take that whatever way you want, whether that means that the product is even better than you expected, or that I'm just trying to justify the fact that I paid €300 for this. Take it whatever way you like. I love this thing, and it's never leaving my rig, so I'm happy with it. Obviously, the Stream Deck is not included, but I do have my Stream Deck in here, and we'll show that on the rig in a little while. We'll show it all lit up. So that's a super brief high-level overview of the products, but let's put them into use. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use the DDU, so maybe we'll just save that for another video. I will use the Rally steering wheel, and the first thing we need to do is install the quick release. As I say, I'm using Asetek at the moment, so it's a perfect excuse to see how this behaves with the inline USB into the quick release. Let's get it on the rig. So here we are in the rig. I've attached this Asetek QR, and as I said earlier, this has a spacer because it's a deep dish rim, but this Asetek QR is also quite long. So luckily I can move my screens independently of the rest, and it seems just now that it's actually not too. I thought it would be a lot closer to me. So it actually kind of works right now. I can still reach my gear lever and all that. So it's actually not that much of a difference. So I'm quite happy about that. First thing I noticed, I have it hooked up to this little independent little dock here, which I guess protects it from the from any forces. I hear some USB disconnects happening. I'm not sure if that's this or anything else that I might have attached to the rig, but it does seem to be happening at the moment that I do this. So I wonder why that is, because this is just USB. Oh, maybe because this has a little USB hub in it. I'm not sure. The Asetek QR, I can't remember that happening before the last time I had it on there. Anyway, at least we know it's that. The lights don't automatically come on. I'm assuming that we need to run SimHub to turn these on. It would be nice if when it's powered, if it had some lights on. You guys can also see, and you'll have seen this on my stream before, so it's not really particularly new, but I've got my stream deck here where I can control absolutely everything from my streams, which I absolutely love. I've got my volume controls and things here that I just never want to, regardless of what other hardware I have on the machine, on the PC, I never have to worry about, you know, being able to change my volume in iRacing, for example, or Discord volume or whatever. I can just do it all from this little handy control unit, and it looks quite, you know, true to life what you might find in a race car setup. So let's start up SimHub, and let's see. I can actually start up SimHub from my. There we go, SimHub, and let's see what happens. So in here in SimHub, I've got a couple of devices activated. Let's go to add new device and filter by brand. Let's do Simcore. Simcore, there we go. RD98. That's the one. Okay. Oh, here we go. Did you see that? The lights just flashed on here, and we're on a screen here with. Okay, we've got presets. Wow, those lights are beautiful. They're really nicely diffused. Very, very nice. The stickers actually look quite well on them, even though the stickers aren't the highest quality. They're not the hardest sticker or whatever. They work quite well. Also, this wheel is quite large, so it's like obstructing part of my screen here. Okay, when I do the combined version, that will work fine. Okay, so I've got some different colors here. I'm going to quickly just set up the colors the way that I want them to match everything else in my room. I'm not going to bore you guys with that, but I'll do that super quickly. Can I do multiples? Yes, I can. Okay, and it's doing it live now, which is great. That's exactly what I want. Are there two lines of LEDs here? I don't actually know, because this is pink, but the line around it, I don't know if you guys can see that on stream there, on the recording. This looks pink. The outer ring looks kind of red. Okay, so I get what's happening. All right, I'm being a little bit slow. All of these rings actually have a different color, and when the light reflects off them, it actually gives a different tint to the color. So these are blue, so it gives a kind of a blue tint. These are red, so it gives a red tint. That's actually really nice, and something that's well worth considering, especially if you game in a darker area like I do. And again, I don't know if this is showing on the video. Hopefully I'll get some like a little bit of b-roll that I can overlay that'll show what I'm saying a little bit nicer. I've made all of these the same color, but to me they look like different colors, which is actually really nice. Yeah, it's a hard one to explain. Now the steering wheel is an extra. It's an optional extra. Any 350mm deep dish wheel will work for this. This just so happens to be a Momo, so I'm not really going to comment on that too much. It's more the use of this. I don't think there's any way to animate on the button click. So when you click the buttons, that it gives a different color. which I would like. I would like that kind of that little bit of yeah. I'd love to be able to customize that. Let's give it a drive and just see how it feels, how the overall experience is. So I've just loaded up a set, of course, a content manager because I love the little interface here for seeing controls in one place. And it does appear that the click down and the left are the same. But the main thing with a wheel like this is, how does it feel? How does it make me feel? It feels quite chunky on my rig. It's quite a large steering wheel, but I guess when you're in a real car, you would usually have a steering wheel this size. As in, if you put a 300mm steering wheel or 330 even in a real car, they actually feel kind of small. So this is getting that little bit closer to simulation. We have the cable. I'd love to avoid the cable. I do have an Asetek base here. You can pay a little bit extra to get the Asetek integration. I think that is the future, where the future of wheelbases is definitely having that power pass through. I think USB cables, especially for something that rotates, you know, 900 or even 1080 degrees. I think it's like, even though it's a good cable, they look like high, you know, sturdy connections. Once you start, it starts wrapping around. There is a certain amount of, you know, additional resistance, or almost like a centering spring that gets added. Now, when you have a high-powered wheelbase, that's less of an issue. Probably worth considering as well that if you do have a smaller wheelbase, I don't think it'd ever be an issue with anything over 12 Newton meters like the Asetek La Prima, but you have a lot more leverage. That also means that you'll feel a lot of those details without it necessarily pulling the steering wheel out of your hands. So there are a lot of things to weigh up. Anyway, let's take it for a burn and see how true all of that is. The LEDs are lovely and bright here.
Keep left of a 60, 3 left on cut.
Okay, the red line seems to be
slow 6 left long of a crest into turn
in the right
sudden,
place.
Unseen, tight hairpin right, and 4 left long. Opens.
My driving needs to improve.
6 right. Keep left of
I've got
a crest,
the forces relatively low,
6 right, into 6 left,
so I could improve on that, but I'm feeling details enough to.
Opens 100 of a crest.
Ooh. Cut the corner, Lawrence, why not?
Of a crest, into 6 left, 6 right of a crest, 30, 5 left long,
It does feel nice with a large steering wheel. I think I should
50, 5 right
up those forces.
To jump, caution narrow 4 right, into 3 left, opened 4, long tightens.
It feels pretty good though.
4 right of a jump,
nowhere near as quick as my Boast car here. I do a lot of rally testing of rally equipment, shifters and stuff on this stage. So I'm having to get used to it. You probably see me sawing at the wheel just a little bit. That is because of the overall forces. I might just pause it and up those forces.
Into unseen tight hairpin right.
We've got just a little bit more force.
Keep left of a 30.
On it right now.
40. Middle of a crest into 6
Definitely
left,
feels
30,
a lot more
left.
realistic. Okay, getting some nice
70.
kicks from the gravel, from the rocks
right
there.
long, to bump and dip 30. Unseen tight hairpin right to tree. Keep right of a 80. 5 left of a dip and
bit
crest.
too tight to the tree.
Slow 50. Unseen happy left.
It's really nice though. It's a little unusual on a sim.
Of a crest, 50 downhill,
It's almost like you get more detail in a high-powered wheelbase.
And 4 right long.
It feels like you can probably see the steering wheel kind of dancing a bit in my hands.
4 right and 4 left long of a crest, opens of a crest.
See the way it kind of gets ripped out of your hands, and it's a little bit, it's quite an authentic experience. I don't know if you've ever driven a car in anger on gravel. Ooh. Okay, that was probably a little bit much for power steering experience, but some people will run this very, very high force feedback.
left.
It's very
always long
enjoyable
to
though.
middle of a crest
What I
at
love about
50.
this is, so they did an
Keep
older
right of a
version
crest
of this.
into
This is the
5
V2,
left,
right?
middle of 80.
And the older version
6 right. Slow,
didn't
keep
have
right of a crest,
backlighting.
30, turn unseen, open happy left.
This one
tightens.
has backlighting, and
50, 6 right, very long.
again, I know
tightens
I
of
go
a
on
jump.
about backlighting, but to me it's important, right? And everybody has
6
those
left,
things
tightens of a dip,
that they find
jump,
important in sim racing.
into 6 right,
And
slow,
yes, backlighting
80,
doesn't make me
5
faster,
right,
but it
50,
makes me smile.
unseen, tight happy
And part
right.
of the reason that I do this is because it
Into
just
5
all
left,
makes me smile.
opens
I
of a
don't
crest
necessarily
long,
need to be the
30.
fastest.
6
I
left,
want a
don't
great
cut.
experience.
6 right, slow,
And
60
this is a
downhill,
lovely, this is
unseen, tight happy left.
a smile-inducing experience.
And 6 right. Into 6 left, very long.
I am enjoying it. I'm chasing my ghost car now.
Into 4
I'm
right,
getting into the
tightens
swing
of
of
a jump.
things. Got a green sector
Caution,
there as well.
70, 3 right tightens. Into 3 left.
And this is not just a
3
rally.
right.
Oh! Commentator's curse. Not just a rally wheel. It would be perfect for any
Slow,
like front
5
wheel
left
drive
long,
racing,
tightens 4,
anything with a round wheel.
30,
It
unseen
is
hairpin
quite,
right.
I would
60,
say,
unseen hairpin left.
probably most suited for anything with, 900-degree rotation or more.
50.
Not necessarily something that you'd put
Opens
on,
extra,
you
extra
might not
long
necessarily
to
use it
keep
for a
middle
touring
of a
car.
crest, turn
Well, that said,
4
you
left.
can. There's nothing stopping
Into
you.
5 right tightens.
But I think
And
I'd
caution,
prefer a
3
slightly
left,
smaller
tightens of a
steering
dip.
wheel for something like a touring car or
To
a
6
track
right of a
experience.
crest, and 2
For a
right,
road
narrow.
car turn race car,
Into
like we're
turn,
racing
3
Honda
left.
Civics at the moment,
And
for
2
something
right,
like that,
tightens of a crest
I would
and dip,
definitely,
50,
or A86s,
late 4 left.
we're racing those actually at the moment. The Honda Civic League is
6
done.
left.
The A86s,
Slow 6
something
right,
like this would be
extra
absolutely
long,
perfect.
tightens
So I will be
3,
using this on all
into
my streams
turn,
as well.
3 left
Um,
long.
it's an expensive product, but it's making me very
Keep
happy.
right of a 50.
Let's go to the summary.
5 left.
So unfortunately, I didn't get to mount the Simcore dash. Maybe if I put it the right way around. I just can't. I have nowhere to mount it, and you might see on my setup here, I've got quite an FOV focused setup, and because the shaft takes up a lot of the space here, like shaft to the wheel plate here is almost, I'd say it's about 20 centimeters. So from my screens to my wheel plate is 20 centimeters, which in itself is not much, especially if you have a dash here at the 10 centimeter mark. But I can't mount it at the moment. I've got the Asetek front mount here, and there's just no easy way to mount this with this particular setup. You could mount it off to the side, but it just kind of defeats the purpose, and the bracket that I have will not fit what I have here. So that will have to be saved for the future for another video. Right now, concentrating on this steering wheel. I will give some quick, just very, very quick words on this. I've got a mount on here. It only has one like a tripod mount, or what is it, 3/8. I don't know what the size is. It's a typical tripod mount. So you do get a little bit of this happening. And when you want to adjust it, you're actually loosening or tightening it. So I'd like if that was a slightly better mount on the back of it. This part here, the second you adjust this, it becomes very loose. These thumb screws are quite loose, and if there's any bit of vibration or whatever, they come loose to the point where they just fall out. So that would be one of my criticisms. When you're paying quite a lot of money for this, they'd be some of my kind of minor criticisms of it. Would I trade it for anything else? There is nothing else on the market like this. So I absolutely love this, and I think this is well worth the money for me. That doesn't mean it's cheap. Doesn't mean that you have to find it affordable. But this, excluding the Stream Deck, this cost me just over, I think, about €300. But for me, it was worth it. And on the steering wheel, again, not cheap. Whatever 350mm. Now for sim racing, guys, I would highly recommend buying a cheap dished wheel. It's for sim racing. It's not for real life. I'm not a huge fan of buying knockoff wheels, so like an exact replica of a real thing. I don't really want to support that. But if there are interesting wheels that are not knockoffs of the real thing, 350mm deep dish, doesn't matter if it's not as rigid as this Momo is. But even at that, any of these wheels, you'll see there's the slightest bit of flex in it. But people obsess about flex. Flex is really not that important when it's so minuscule. When it comes to the flexing of metal, it's not really that. It's only when there's, you know, squeaking or huge amounts of play that it starts becoming an issue. And with a steering wheel like this, all of the forces should be around the center line. As soon as you start doing left and right forces, you've got a lot more, you know, as soon as the forces start going like this, you've got a lot more at play, and a lot of maybe potentially bad habits going on. So I would say, yeah, get a cheap, buttery €30 steering wheel off eBay and attach it to this. This is a €700 or $695 button plate. Yes, it's expensive. You get the spacer with that and all that. You do get customization options. So you see the way I said about the blue and the pink and the red and all that, you can customize that entire layout, which I think is a really nice personal touch. It makes every one of these feel very bespoke. You can customize the colors of all of this stuff. The rotaries have those little O-rings, rubber O-rings on them. They feel quite nice. Not used it with gloves yet, but I'd say that it should be fine. It should be no real difference. There's a nice click to all of these buttons, so I'm happy enough about that. This one here, it says fuel. That was the sticker that was already on it, but you can change out these stickers as well. You can get it all customized, and of course you saw the sticker sheet earlier. You can put whatever stickers you want on here. The detent on the rotaries could be better. It's not the best, but it's nice. And the detent on the 7-way hats, also pretty good. Not the most amazing that I've ever felt, but they are nice. And I use a lot of high-end gear, so it's still a really nice feeling on all of these. They're very, very high quality components. They're not as crisp and clear maybe as some of the competition, but also, you know, where do you draw the line? Where does it stop being useful? Because sometimes when you get a very, very clear, crisp detent, it also takes a lot more effort to do. So maybe when you're quickly adjusting your brake bias or whatever, you might just want to do that super quickly without necessarily worrying. Now it is nice to feel exactly how many clicks you've done. Huge thing with this, I guess, is you get no flappy paddles. So you're going to have to succumb to a manual H pattern or sequential shifter, or one of those really cool rally push-pull shifters, which you can get as well. SimLab does a really nice one. So that's about everything that I can say about this wheel at the moment. I will be using this because I've got a lot of H pattern stuff and sequential stuff going on at the moment. I've got stuff to review as well, so I don't necessarily need those flappy paddles. I do have other steering wheels that I can easily slot on and off if I need that, but I want to use this as much as possible. I'll be using this in my upcoming leagues and my rally events. I do rally every Thursday, and I do circuit racing on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock UK and Irish time. For now, I'm Lawrence, and I'll chat to you later.